Welcome back. Can we do it? Can we find a flaw somewhere? I don't know. Let's press and find out.
Hold it!
I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve. Eh? What do you mean? Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency. What? An inconsistency? Did you bow? Really, Kodo? I don't quite know what it means yet, but... yes, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by... what? Okay, hold on. An inconsistency somewhere. Where? Didn't sit right with me one statement that seemed odd. What do you mean? Not going to let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears. Okay, so it's gonna either be Strongheart, Kazuma, or Van Zykes. I don't think it's gonna be Gina. So Strongheart, when the trial is over, you'll forfeit your warrant card. That's fine. Inosuke, Gina, Strongheart, Kazuma's got all the dots. Mr. Jikoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Judicature. Yeah, I can't go back any further. Alright, let's just go through the list. Because, honestly, I don't know.
Take that!
There was definitely something strange about it that didn't add up. Inconsistency is in a statement made by this person.
Objection!
People can only be inconsistent in what they say if they actually testify. In case you hadn't noticed, the person you're accusing isn't even in the stand. Okay, so it has to be Van Zykes then, right? The defense appears unable to respond to that replication. Any further obviously deliberate obstructions to these proceedings will not be tolerated, counsel. No, wait. It's not strictly true, is it? A person doesn't necessarily have to be in the stand to say something that doesn't add up in court. Why would you say that it's Kazuma then? Mr. Naruhodo, I'm quite sure that you're just a step away from the right answer. Step away. Just need to listen carefully to what people are saying again. I mean, yeah, I could have done that, couldn't I? So that's what we have to work with. It may help us that Lord Van Zykes is in the stand too. Yes, perhaps. I'm sure Gina knows she hasn't already told us. Knows nothing she hasn't already told us. There's no point trying to get more out of her. Do you notice how Kazuma-sama reacted to Lord Van Zykes' words? It's Kazuma then, yeah. And he called him an even more sinister Reaper, you mean? Well, I'm sure Kazuma intends to eliminate any shred of doubt that the man is guilty. He's looking for revenge against the person he considers to be his father's killer, after all. I do worry that if we fail to find a discrepancy in this testimony somewhere, the trial may end and adjudication won't go in our favor. Don't worry, I'm on it. Let's listen carefully again to what everybody is saying. I'm not sure what, but it's gonna be Kazuma. Like, based on what they said there. It's that sort of thing. I could go through everything again and find it, knowing that now. Or we could just simply follow what it's basically telling me to do. That's what we could do. We could just get straight to it. It's like, it's gonna be Kazuma, and we'll find out why. Alright, let's hold down circle so we just fly through this. Right, so it's Kazuma, but how and why?
Take that!
What did I miss? By you, Kazuma Soge. Me? Is this some attempt at filibustering, counsel? Prosecutor Soge has given no testimony. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, imagine you'll realize what you've done. What? Very well then, counsel, go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency in something Professor Professor, Prosecutor Asogi said. I don't remember enough. It's generally like, what? Okay, maybe we'll present that.
Take that!
Yeah. So, my initial impressions were correct. This is nonsense. You accuse your best friend and back it up with that. Clearly, the Ryunosuke Naruhodo I knew is dead. Oh god. If I could have gone back and read everything in the history, it would have been fine. Struck down by my best friend. I believe what you intend to point out, Mr. Naruhodo, was when Kazuma said... Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France. So the passport? As shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Yes, that's exactly it. I take it from your expression that you're not going to let this go. How does he know about the metal trunk? The wire just fell off my table. Don't know if you heard it. It just slid across and fell down. Ah well. Correct, my lord. I made a mistake, that's all. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you'll realize what you've done. Very well then, counsel, go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency in something Prosecutor Asogi said? How does he know about the trunk? He knew about the passport because we presented it, but we never presented the trunk, did we? And how would he know?
Take that!
This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. A metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. This may explain why there's like a sword slash mark on the side. What's this? A bloodstain? And a relatively fresh one, too. What? You mean that ain't grease from all the boss's fish and chips? Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There was no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. But I found it. Me, with my nose for trouble. Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. So the question is, how did you know about the inspector's trunk? We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport?
Objection!
His wallet? But you knew it was a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On the 31st of October, when exactly were you? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryunosuke? Kazuma, what did you... Oh, bloody hell. I hadn't considered the possibility before, but Kazuma was there on the ship, then it only had been for one purpose. Oh no, Mr. Naruhodo. Surely you don't think... Come on, Ryunosuke, you know the rules. And the only thing that really talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proved nothing. Kazuma, I Are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector? He was there? With Gregson? There's a clue that you've overlooked. A secret that trunk can tell us. I'll be sure at this point. I need to verify it. But I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless, we must test it. The defense will identify for the court where in the trunk this alleged clue is to be found. Where is the evidence that ties Prosecutor Asogi to Inspector Gregson? Well, it's there, isn't it? It's there.
Got it!
Got it! This is your proof. What do you say to that, Prosecutor Asogi? Personally, I think tying the defense counsel to the inspector's trunk and tossing it into the sea would be more helpful. What? At least that way, London's courtrooms will be safe from his destructive accusations. I believe that was a rather long-winded way of telling you that you're wrong, Mr. Naruhodo. What, do I have to inspect it first? Although he did say. Like, check it, didn't he? Very well, then let us see if you sink or swim under the weight of this penalty, counsel. Oh, God's sake. I'm down at 2. Mr. Naruhodo, you can't allow yourself to be drowned at sea yet. I was hoping never to let that happen, funnily enough. The defense will identify for the court where in this trunk this alleged clue is to be found. It's gotta be the thing. It's gotta be. Where's the evidence that ties Prosecutor Asogi to Inspector Gregson? Because it's like just a metal slash. Unless. Let's have a look inside. Did it go through? Ah, that's what it wants me to do. It's like, this is a different piece of evidence to that, isn't it? That's what's going on there. Let's double check though. Do you see that? There's something stuck in the side of the trunk there. It's glinting. It looks like a fragment of metal of some sort. It's wedged in so tightly, I can't remove it. Well, don't cut yourself. You'd better leave it, I think. Oh, that has to be it.
Got it!
There's a small piece. Thank you. There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here, like the tip of a blade. A blade? Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Kuruma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it? Here in this courtroom? For all to see? Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Asogi like a hawk. That won't be necessary. He said it again. Ah. Oh no. The tip is broken. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with the inspector will be answered. Agreed, Kazuma Asogi. Oh dear. Expertly done, Ryunosuke. That's a point to you and well deserved. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Asogi, eh? Yes, on the 31st of October I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. What? Oh, bloody hell. You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? Your question mark? You're following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jigoku? Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk? But I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. We're never going to do it. We can believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. After all, Judge Chigoku arrived safely in London the following day. Yeah, there may have been other circumstances that we don't know about. On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. We travelled to Dover, from where we crossed the channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan. You went to Judge Chigoku's cabin? Exactly. He wasn't there, though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life. So I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. A boarding house in Dunkirk? My signature will be in the registry book. It would be simple enough to verify. And then, what became of Jigoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure, causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger and end his wretched agent's life. And that's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder.
Objection!
But if you did nothing as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? I don't need to answer that. What? I mean, you kinda do. The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case. And accordingly, I choose to exercise my right to silence on the matter. Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. As you wish, my lord. The great sword Kuruma has been entered into the court. The record. We must take immediate action now to verify whether Seishiro Jigoku remains unharmed. What? Remains unharmed? I agree. That should be our first priority. I kind of want to look at Kuruma though. Yeah, what we got going on here? Kuruma, the great blade. Such a thing of beauty. Want to gaze on it for hours. Okay. Just the tip. And the tip of the greatsword. Broken. It's such a shame. It's been so meticulously cared for over the years. You can almost hear Kuruma's sobs. Kazuma must have really taken a swing for that to happen. Have we got anything else going on at all? Doesn't seem like we do. Very well. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. Why? How did you? When a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise. True. You don't mean to say that you think Judge Jigoku may have been killed? The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal, and he has the power and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zykes? If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. Order in the court, order. We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now? Guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. If the man can't be located within half an hour, we will have to assume the worst. Oh no, not Judge Jigoku. No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who'd only just arrived in the country. Except, that is, for the Reaper, wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago. I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake... My lord? I sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Mr. Jigoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. Court is adjourned for 30 minutes. What? It's just us here, just us. Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare. I can hardly believe it either. But on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories. I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. Yep, it's great. If something awful has happened to Judge Jigoku, then I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. Felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we were careening towards a foregone conclusion. And in the worst case, might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately though, don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. We're out of options. Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear. Really? Of course! The little Mr. Shlomes doll that Iris gave us. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hareley's ears as hard as you possibly can. Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Hareley's ears or not? Pull? Here goes then. I'm going to do it. Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo. No looking back. If... Ow! That scream sounded like Mr. Shlomes. Mr. Shlomes, where are you? Here, my dear fellow, here! It's the felt doll talking. Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruhodo, as hard as you can. Alright then, I'll put all my strength into it. Heave! Ow! Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off. Mr. Shlomes, where are you? They're radios? Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first-class cabin area of the SS Grouse. The SS Grouse? She left Dover last night after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. Back on the air. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour. You've taken a ship to France? Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. Stairs of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by train to the port, in order to board this vessel in time. So, you mean you'd already worked it out? That the steamship was where everything really took place? Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what is my name? Sherlock Shlomes, world famous great detective. Recited to perfection, well done. You're a genius, Mr. Shlomes. That's the only word for it. Ow! Miss Suzuto, gently with this genius's ear, please. Oh my, I'm ever so sorry. If I may, Shlomes. Ah, there you are, Mikatop. You may remember that it was in fact I who made the connection to the SS Grouse. At Scotland Yard yesterday, when we examined that notebook and I recalled my steamship ticket. Ah, but of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert that fact. I merely had our court-bound companions utter my name. That is true. Yes, you did, didn't you? We've just entered a recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now. And if we're unable to present any new leads then, I'm afraid to say. Do not fret, please. It's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubt we shall have welcome news for you within the half hour. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful. Until later then. Yes, you'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. Ow, ow. I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging my ear in that mindless fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making your receiver operate in that way in the first place, Sholmes? Why the juice would I know? It's Iris's invention, not mine. Okay, that's kind of cool. Whilst I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes, we have but half that now before the grouse puts to sea again. If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Mikataba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So, let us begin. First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. But I don't believe an investigation of the cabin is going to be plain sailing. And that crewman standing in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow. What's on his arm? Why are you loitering here? Who are you? My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you? He's got Sholmes written on his arm. Do you not recognize world-traveling great sailor Chicken Stroganoff when you see? Great detective? I don't think so. Do you see that, Mikatop? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine. Goodness me, is that a tattoo that says Sholmes? I must say, while such adoration is flattering, naturally, it does leave me a little cold. What are you talking about? Leave now! How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. And yet I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman. Currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact. How could you know this? Elementary, my dear Mikataba. I'm sure it was. 3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jigoku. There is no one with that name on board. We know that he purchased a ticket for passage. Ah, you mean Eastern man. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here at Dunkirk, he said something about emergency, I think. What? But are you sure? So Sashiro realized that we're after him, has he? His cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please. No, I have orders not to let even mouse inside. Mikataba, be a good man and draw the sailor's attention away, would you? Make up some excuse so that he leaves the area. Doesn't great detective see that even sailors have ears, both left and right? Curses! The plan is ruined. And you have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes. Forget it. Cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot get inside. Mikataba. I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you? Opening any lock. Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, old friend, in your typically accommodating manner. How could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? So I need to distract that birdie saver for 5 seconds, do I? Good man, so the game is afoot. But not in this part, in the next part. Ta-da for now.